Good day to everyone. It is always a great day. I thought I'd just chime in because there's a lot of chatter online. People are so upset doing post election. Seemingly they don't know what to do, where to go, how to feel. And it's mostly feelings that got people in such an uproar. They always was talking about how the Trump deniers or the election deniers and all these things was happening in the January 6th for so many years, and they still talking about it. However, if you notice that every time the Democratic or liberal side don't get their way, they're the ones that are the most mean, vile. They're always trying to leverage their anger, their disappointment. They're in their feelings more than anyone else there is. They're the ones that would do the most protesting. Even prior to the election, people was trying to tear down signs. They was causing a lot of fights and interruptions. You're supposed to be the party of inclusivity. You always talk about the DEI, and the I is for inclusive, E for equality, and all of that. But the problem is you want people you want to be included by others, but you don't want to include anybody else's opinion or thoughts that's separate from your own. How is that being of moral standing? How is that? Someone tell me because it doesn't make sense to me. There are people out here, especially women, and I understand you want the first female president, you want the first black female president, whatever the cost may be. Just because a female may run and obtain something, that doesn't validate you, the individual female. That doesn't validate you. It doesn't invalidate, but it doesn't validate you. It's just like men have to stand up on their own separate way of living, their own values and things. Their own household have to be run, have to be justified by their ways, their actions. So, regardless of whomever elected as far as a male anywhere, that does not validate that man that's working in the post office just because another man is the CEO of the post office. He still has to be judged by what he does as an individual. But for some reason, and my mom and sisters told me this, that if you look at females as a whole, most of them feel validated by the promotion of another female, whether they have good character or not themselves. And they'll go on acting in such a way. And then you have men now that has more uh, effeminized ways, not being feminine, but effeminized ways and mean emotional versus logical thinking. They're doing the same thing to try to be validated by women because their dating game or whatever it is they call it's not there anymore. So they want to be pampered still, like the single mother thing. They still want to be adored by the female. So a lot of them want to be taken care of or seen as we're upholding the woman. But then there's a few that are just an agenda based, want the man, the warrior by nature, to be shut down and be led by women. The thing of it is, if you really want someone to represent you, you have to make sure they have good representation. And what I have seen is not those that are of high moral good representation. Not saying that Trump doesn't say things that are wild and crazy. He's not trying to be so political. He talks off the cuff. Wherefore, most people will tell you what they want you to hear, try to cater to your feelings, and that's not the way real life works. It's like everybody get a trophy, even if you lose. That's not the way life works. And we have to understand that. We have to understand that, the thing is, the person we may have wanted to win didn't win. The thing should be, okay, that happened. What's next? What's next should be, okay, as a whole, are we American looking for the same things in a country to protect the country, to get it back to good global standing, and all these other underlying things? How are we going to make the country great as a people? But because you've been so honed in and brainwashed or guided through feelings, you hoping that these people give you a voice. If you 1% of something, you want a greater voice than the other 99%. And that's just not a republic. That is dictatorship, authoritarianism, that you're accusing another person of being, but you're doing it as a 1% or 2% collective body. That's what you're doing. You're trying to push your ideas on everyone else in an angrily fashion, in a bullying way. And you don't step back and say, you know what? How can I be of good nature, good sound character, and still people accept me? No matter what I decide to do, as far as not harming people, how you live your life, how you go about your life. Why is it that it's so hard for you to, to accept anybody that's don't want to call you what you want to be called because this is what they know to be true for themselves? Just give them your name. If you change your name and you said, just call me this by name, but don't try to change them to call you something they don't believe that you really are. And I will tell you why so much anger on that side is you yourself have never come to terms about your decision on how you're living. So you get angry because if you was really well within yourself, if you was self-centered and you decide to be trans or whatever, guess what happens? No matter what no one says or call you, that should not offend you because you have now become uh, of good sound to yourself. You're happy with yourself. But when you're so angry and triggered all the time, you're not happy. And no one else can give you that happiness. No one can give you that center for yourself but yourself. You have to do that for yourself. So you can't expect the world to keep. You can throw out here called cis women. That's just not it. Cis men is just not it. You can't keep trying to define by someone telling you call them this and call them that, and you want someone to call you something. Do you not understand that everybody's not going to do that? That don't mean they hate you, and they don't mean they're afraid of you. But someone is pushing you to just go out here and be angry. Your anger is not going to get you anywhere like that. You have to understand is to wait to do some things. And even now, you still got this media and everybody else pushing you to keep doing, saying the wrong things and acting out. And that is not helpful. That's not grown people. That is childlike behavior. And all the stuff I see about women talking about withholding sex and doing this with their husband and boyfriends, guess what? That's okay. That's less abortions that you march for, you won't have to worry about because you won't get impregnated. So that'll bring that down. But guess what? Those people who want that agenda, that need for you to do that, they'll start pushing another conversation when they find out the abortions have dropped because you decide to be so angry, so in your feelings, that you think you're withholding the sexual encounters. That's a good thing for that reason, really is. But let me say this, when you understand words and meaning, reproduction means to reproduce after oneself, to be fruitful and reproduce. So to end the life of a miracle creation inside of someone, they want you to reproduce in order to take away. So make that make sense to anyone. So let's call it what it is. And tell me what rights any woman have lost with this election. None. No rights in the last 12, 15 years that you've gained that you've lost. The right to abort has never been lost to you. It's just the state of the people that's in the state decides that. And if that person, Harris, would have won, they couldn't have changed anything and made it even no matter what. That's a Supreme Court decision that was already rendered. And so unless the Supreme Court try to changes it or whatever, just like the trying to pay off a student loan debt, they keep telling y'all things and y'all keep believing it, and you're not really looking at reality. So my telling you this is this: get a grip, calm down, really start thinking about, instead of reaction on feelings, start thinking, why am I acting this way? Why am I so angry? Why am I so mad? Why have I broken friendships, family bonds, and everything else? Because guess what? There's going to come a time that you're going to need the very people that you try to push away from out of your anger and spite, because they decide to vote their pocketbooks, their moral compass, their religious belief, or whatever have you, that lined up against what you, a few percentage, was told to do best by media. You're gonna regret it one day, I assure you. And a lot of your people that you're shunning, they still love you, but also they don't have to deal with you. They don't have to accept you back when you come back. And just stay out there. If you want to leave the country, leave the country. That you have choices. And this one I'll say about the religious faction, especially the black churches that have fallen away from what they say is scriptural and what God believes. You cannot believe in the God that created you and said, "Thou shalt not kill or steal," and yet you allow yourself, by your choices he still give you, to steal from him and kill what he is creating. And remember, we are just the people that the man carries a seed of electricity charge for the egg that you carry, meaning that that's a portal. A woman is a portal for creation, not the creator of the life. The life is created by the creator inside the incubation of that egg. That is what's done. So you have to understand that you are a portal. You have been given the greatest gifts there is, chosen by the creator to be the portal that he creates in and bring forth life. And if you can't understand that, and the church is teaching anything that's inclusive stuff, they're really going against, they're not a true church and not a true believer of what they preach. That's just not where it doesn't work. So regardless of whether the person running, and just be mindful of this, the first black lady that ran for president was Shirley Chisholm, not Kamala Harris. And I also know, with all the internet stuff I've seen, I have not seen one Indian person from India acting like a lot of you black and white females are acting. Think about that, if you will. I don't even see them from Asia acting like that because she lost. So if you're saying that she's multiracial, why is the other main factors in her life not reacting the way some of you white and black Democratic females are responding? Just think about that. But anyway, I'm not going to hold you long. I'll leave you with this. Get out of your feelings. Get back into your logic. Understand who you are. Be happy with who you are and your decisions you made. Because no one's angry with you for who you voted for. You're the one showing who you voted for, and you're being angry for people who decided, you know what, I'm going to take control of my life, my choice, my vote. That's what they did, and that's what you did. So stop the foolishness, because all you're showing is that you have been diagnosed with TDS and you need to get help. Anyway, it's always a great day. I bid you a good day.